Sebastian Rogers lives right now. I don't know what is going on, but it seems like as they're ramping up this renewed effort to find Sebastian Rogers, it's taking him to some familiar places. Check it out. As I've been discussing most of the day, there has been a renewed effort in the search for Sebastian Rogers, a 15-year-old autistic boy that's missing from Hendersonville, Tennessee. It is my opinion that he disappeared under suspicious circumstances, although law enforcement is saying that there is no evidence of foul play. Sumner County Sheriff's Office put out a Facebook post stating that they're going to be out in the community looking for Sebastian Rogers as this renewed effort for Sebastian Rogers gets underway. Something isn't right. We're getting a really, really odd feeling about this case. You're going to want to stick around as we dive in. From the East Coast to the West Coast, we are everywhere. True crime is. We are asking for the public's help. We are searching in the woods. We are doing what it takes here on the Bullhorn Betty channels to find answers to the most alarming cases we have been watching on the news. I can tell you personally that I have traveled this entire country seeking these answers and bringing that content right here to you here on the Bullhorn Betty channels and Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories. We are happy with the work that we've done. We've brought many answers to the public, and we have defied mainstream media in our pursuit of the truth in these cases. We will continue to work, we will continue to fight for these victims, and we will continue to tell their stories here on my channels. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty brand of channels and the Coffee Club. Thank you for your love, thank you for your support, and more importantly, thank you for allowing me to bring these victims' stories to each and every one of you, advocating for each of these victims. God bless you, God bless America, and more importantly, God bless our victims. I don't know why it does that. I don't know why it does that. It should not be doing that. But I appreciate you guys telling me I was muted. Sorry about that. But it's nice to see everybody this afternoon, and we're going to get just really started right away on the Sebastian case because I've got a little bit of time to have a lot of information. Plus, we're still going to open up the phone lines to speak with each and every one of you that would like to call in and give us an idea of what your thoughts are. This is related to a 15-year-old boy, autistic boy. His name's Sebastian Rogers. He went missing on February 26th around between midnight and 6 a.m. On the 26th. This case has really rocked us. We don't know what is going on here, but everybody knows something is not right when it comes to this case, period. Something's not right. We feel it. We felt it from the beginning. We tried to be hopeful. We tried to be helpful. We tried to do our part to bring this case to the forefront and make it as big as possible so people are looking at this boy. I can tell you that we have accomplished that goal of making sure that a lot of people know about this boy and know that he's missing and know that he's missing in multiple states. That has been accomplished. The problem is we have conflicting issues that we need to resolve. First and foremost, did Katie truly pass her polygraph? We have no corroboration. We have no one else that can possibly tell us whether or not she has passed that polygraph test other than herself. I'm sorry. We have to remove that past polygraph out of the equation. We can't keep looking at that polygraph and saying that she passed it. We don't know. And I think it's a distraction from us looking at her in conjunction with all the information. And I'm removing it. I'm going to act like it doesn't exist. Not that she passed, not that she failed, just that she didn't take it. Because I don't know whether she took it or not. And I don't know whether she passed or failed. And I'm sorry, but her behavior has me very suspect. Has me very, very suspect. We have a lot of information. And this last video at 3 that we did on Premiere, I gotta say, my audience is a little impatient, okay? I have to tell you guys are some impatient people. I'm just joking. I'm not joking. You guys are impatient. So I was going through, there's a lot of behind the scenes, and I don't think you guys ever kind of get the behind the scenes, us working through an issue. For example, a lot of people had to wait for somebody to tell them that video at the speedway didn't hold water before they realized it didn't hold water. That video that we dropped at 3 p.m. shows you how to process the information so you find out if it holds water. So you don't have to ask somebody. So that's what you guys were watching. You guys were watching us work through a process because we had no information. Yeah, did we get some information today that said that that video over there at that gas station didn't hold water? Yes, today. Later in the morning, that started making its rounds. Well, I recorded that video wee hours of morning. So that information wasn't available to me, but the ending result was still the same. There's no way that speedway could hold water with the timing of what we know to be true with Chris. So that eliminated that. We didn't need somebody to tell us that it doesn't hold water or it might not be Sebastian. The information led us to believe that it couldn't be. So I hope you guys go back to that video now that, we do know this information, and watch how how it's processed. Watch how we got to the ending result there, because that's stuff that you're going to need to use, especially when you have law enforcement not giving you any information. We've been working around the clock. I can tell you, nights, weekends, mornings, 2, 3 o'clock in the mornings, we have been working this case. We've been trying to find out where Sebastian is. And so we have been looking heavily and highly at the 2 people that we believe may hold the key to where Sebastian is, and that is Chris Proudfoot and Katie Proudfoot. We've been talking about this for a couple weeks now, and it's been a breath of fresh air to hear Nancy Grace. And I'm telling you, when we, us as a team, we're behind the scenes, we're working, we're chatting, we're, theorizing, we're doing all this stuff. But I got to tell you, when we heard Nancy Grace's 19-minute video, we were just like, and I went back there and I said, see, this is what I'm talking about. You guys rock. I told my team, I said, you guys are a bunch of rock stars. When we start analyzing these cases to the likes of professionals and people like Nancy Grace, and we are spot on in our assessment, we're doing a great job. And while I understand that you guys don't get to see that work behind the scenes, you guys only get to see kind of the final product, our conversations about the stuff we discuss behind the scenes. I can tell you this thing with the Nancy Grace, I was very, very happy with my team when I heard the Nancy Grace commentary. We're going to go to Nancy Grace right now. I know that everybody and their mother is playing this, but I have some very, very specific places that I want to go. So we're going to go there. But before we get to the Nancy Grace thing, I want to talk about Narked Diver. Okay? Narked Diver is a creator that I've never personally met, but I have learned about from the Riley Strain case because of the whole debacle with Cajun Navy. Cajun Navy literally took the credit for Narked Diver on a national broadcast, which I think is disgusting. But you know what? The United Cajun Navy is a bunch of pigs. Okay. And I don't like their group. They will never get the support of Bullhorn Betty. And from this point on, if I ever hear them involved in one of my cases or a case that I'm covering, I'm going to make sure that all of the alarm bells are raised to whomever is working with them. I don't trust them. I don't like them. And I will always, forever, from this point forward, after seeing the kind of crap they did in the Sebastian Rogers case, they will be denounced each and every time by this channel. Until such time they take responsibility for their actions and change their evil ways. Then we can start working on them and getting them where they need to be. But if they don't think they have a problem, then there's nothing we can do to help them. Narcotic diver. There's some stuff here, guys, that you really need to listen to. I've listened to several creators today talking about this narcotic diver interview. And to me, I feel like every last one of them missed the mark. I really do. Just about every last one of them. I haven't watched every one that I watched. I felt missed the mark. Missed the mark greatly. Why? Because they're so worried. They're so worried and focused on the dog scent hit in the pond. Because people are coming into this case and forget information at the beginning of this case. I don't know how many times law enforcement needs to come to the public and let the public know that, yes, they acknowledged a hit. Okay, let me be very clear. They acknowledged a hit, guys. You know what they said about the hit? It was a false positive. So now everybody's listening to all these recordings because the 911 and the dispatch calls are released, and they forgot law enforcement has already explained the dog and that retention pond away. So now everybody is refocused on those footprints and the retention pond, and we're going to get to that because I think that is a key issue. Okay, we're going to get to the key. I do think it is a key issue, and you're going to listen to my theories on that because I believe that it's possible that all of that was staged. It is possible. And that could have been the reason why they were so adamant that it was a false positive hit. But I'm not going to go into that just right yet. That's going to be later down in the show of here. So the narcotic diver, where I believe everybody has missed the boat, is, well, thank you, Rusty, 5 months member. She loves each of you. Hugs and kisses, hugs and kisses. Sorry, I have been working nonstop for the last several days. So just FYI. So long story short is Chris took a ride with law enforcement. And this, to me, was the literally breaking news that everybody missed. They missed the stinking mark, focusing on obsolete shit that's already been explained over and over again. In my opinion, not to offend anybody, but I'm just a blunt person, okay? Chris got into a car with a patrolman and went around and drove from site to site with law enforcement. He was the only one in that entire family that was taken for this ride-along. We've been doing this for a really, really long time. Not as long as many, longer than most, but we've been around the block a time or two because this is our business. When have we ever known anybody to get in the car with a cop to go around to these locations? You guys remember the last time we had a ride-along? You guys remember? It was just recently, too. It was in the Audrey Cunningham case. And the ride-along was Stephen McDougal. Remember that? So Chris thinks this is a bragging right. He knows more than anybody else in the family because he got this ride from law enforcement. And we touched on it earlier at the 3 o'clock one with the pre-record, the premiere. I want you guys to hear this. This is ultra concerning to me. This tells me that law enforcement have put their sights on that man and that man alone. Let's listen. And I've got it just about where I got it back. We're going to be right about the 2:50 mark. So we're going to have 1 minute of, the update because the 1 minute is all the crap that didn't matter. And the one spot in here that really, really, really did matter, nobody even picked up on. So let's listen. Yep.
Do you know how much they actually drained?
They drained the whole thing.
It's okay.
So initially, when they went over to look at it, it was only knee-deep. From the picture that you showed me, there's a lot of new runoff.
Yeah, that's what.
From where they're cutting. Yeah.
Trying to figure out. I was like, I don't know how shallow it was before or after.
Yeah. I'm 5'9", and it was knee-deep.
Okay.
So, and they even drained it and still walked it.
Okay, so they actually walked it. I didn't know that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And that is actually information that was told to me by law enforcement.
Okay, it's coming up right now.
I went on me and law enforcement, they could put me in a vehicle. Right. Drove me around, showed me a bunch of stuff. I'm the only one.
Law enforcement put me in a vehicle and drove me around and showed me a bunch of stuff. I'm going to take this back. We're going to listen to it again because he says something past that.
So they actually...
Because I went on me and law enforcement, they could put me in a vehicle. Right. Drove me around, showed me a bunch of stuff. I'm the only one that they've done that.
Okay.
So I can actually give you a little bit more information than what...
You see how he's bragging about it? He thinks it's a bragging right that he was put into this law enforcement cruiser and taken around and shown areas, and he was the only one that did. Not the mother, not the father, just Chris. The one person that was the furthest away from Sebastian. Does that sound normal to you? Does that sound right to you? No, it doesn't. You know why? Because that is law enforcement behavior. And that is telling me they're looking squarely at Chris Proudfoot. Because of that one action. Them putting him in the back of the car. We've seen this 1,000 times from Sunday. Who do they put in the back of those cars and drive around for information? You be the answer to that. I'm not going to answer that question for you. It's answered for me because I know how this stuff works. And he was the only one, not the mom that was with Sebastian, not the biological father, just the stepfather. Another thing that just doesn't make sense to me. But what it does tell me is it tells me law enforcement is doing their job. It's telling me law enforcement has a hell of a lot more information than we even know. It tells me law enforcement has their theories and their own speculation. And if they know that Katie has passed her polygraph test, then why would they put her in the car? There's only one person being put in a patrol car to go around. And again, the only time I ever see that is just a few things. And the last time I saw that was just back in February, and the person that took that ride along was the person that's sitting behind bars right now for doing a horrible atrocities to a little girl. And his name's Stephen McDougal. So it looks like Mr. Proudfoot's right up there with the status of Mr. McDougal. Just thought I'd throw that out there. Now, here's kind of the Nancy Grace stuff. And there's one lady that I want you to hear. Now, I'm not going to go through all of this. And the reason why I'm not going through all of this is because I absolutely 100% believe that everybody under their mother is going to be showing this new video with Nancy Grace. And so I'm very specific with what I want to show you on here. And there's one, oh, thank you, it's me, Jen. If you guys received your gift membership, please don't forget to tell it's me, Jen. Thank you for being a wonderful mod and a wonderful subscriber here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. So there's one, I mean, she always has great experts, okay? You guys know how I feel. Even when I don't like Nancy Grace or I disagree with her assessment, I still love Nancy Grace at the end of the day, okay? I love Nancy Grace. There's just, you guys cannot take me off. I can be as mad as a hornet nest, right? at Nancy Grace, and I still love that woman. She's my BFF. She's my my secret BFF, or I'm her secret BFF. Nancy Grace, I'm the stalker in the bushes, okay? If you ever see somebody just peeking in the bushes, just holler out and say, "Hey, Bullhorn Betty." No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. I need to stop. All right, so let's get here. There's a few things I want to talk about, but it's this. Let me make sure I got the right expert on here. Here's the expert. Hold on here. I think I got it. Okay, there it is. I think it's right here. I think I got it right here. But this is the area that I want to talk about.
Host of Zone 7 is a forensic expert.
Joe
Scott Morgan, death investigator. Cheryl, you've had quite a lot to say online.
This is the lady right here.
Cat got your tongue, because I don't like that. You're pretty.
She's very pointed. She's very, she's this lady here. Her expert here is a very astute person. This is a person that I value her opinion. I value both of these ladies' opinions very, very, very greatly. But I think this lady here explains everything in a nutshell. And I just want to inform the people. We are all, okay, from experts down to lay people, are looking directly and squarely at Chris Proudfoot right now. When we've got Nancy Grace putting down the hammer on Chris Proudfoot and his wife, we know that there is definitely something stinking to high heaven. What we thought was true is most likely true. And that's sad. It's really, really sad. So let's get through this little spot, and then I'm going to open up the phone lines. I want you guys to call in and let me know your thoughts on this new information. How do you feel about the Narcotic Diver, revelation? Again, I felt like everybody missed the boat because we've been told that hit out there at that retention pond was a false hit. So is that a lie from law enforcement? It very well could be, but it also could be it was staged, and they realized it was staged. So let's get this part, and then we'll get the phones open for you guys.
Be bold when nobody's questioning you. But what about now? I want to hear your analysis.
Here's my problem. Their statements. You've got inconsistencies. As soon as somebody changes their story at all, they should become the focus. Period. Mom has said different things.
Oh, I'm proud of you, Brandy. Awesome. It's nice to see you.
Looks like he's co-signing with everything that she says, but he allegedly wasn't there. So how can he agree with anything that she's saying?
Co-signing on information when he sits there and says he wasn't even there. We all picked up on that. We picked up on that. We saw that. We saw that. We saw that in the Chronicles of Olivia interview about the cousin. How would he know? But he knew. Doesn't make sense.
You got Mom saying she heard a thud. I don't like that word. That sounds like a body hitting the floor. When people use the word thud, that's not, sounded like he hit the wall, sounded like something.
No, it's never a good thing. It's usually preceded by an adjective, sickening, a sickening thud.
Right. And Nancy, you've got other things. You've got Mom saying he went to the end of the driveway to put out the trash. And then you've got
See, she's picking up on the trash, guys. Remember how we said all of this stuff that we're hearing, there's a reason for it. Down to the flashlight. There's a reason why they had to put that in their story. There's a reason. The landfill search. There's a reason, guys. There's a reason for all of this. You got to listen to this lady. She's as smart as a whip, and she's in tune. This is experts speaking, folks. Experts.
law enforcement searching a landfill. They're searching lakes. They're searching ponds. If you're watching and paying attention to law enforcement, it does not seem to me that they are looking to recover a child alive.
That is the most heartbreaking out of all of this. And this is something that we've known in our gut for a long time, that law enforcement and every other talking heads are telling us that we're wrong for feeling it. Shame on us. The horrible social media people. Why don't they just say that we're just, they don't like us talking because we get it. Why don't we just have a little truth serum? Shall we? Just a thought. Just a thought. But that's the most heartbreaking, because let's talk about that. These law enforcement, we talk about law enforcement behavior on this show all time, and lack of information. Where do I go? I go directly to what is law enforcement doing, because their behavior is very telling to me. And they are searching landfills. They are searching waterways. They're searching in the woods 6 weeks later. We're not dumb people here. This isn't good. I've said that and I've maintained it. This is not a good situation at all.
They are searching for remains. You and I both know, and Joe Scott knows, when a child goes missing, the first 3 hours are critical. We're at 6 weeks. 6 weeks that this child has not been seen or heard from.
Okay,
6
hold on.
weeks
Why are you saying, Cheryl McCollum, that you believe they don't expect to find Sebastian alive based on their actions? I'm talking about LE law enforcement.
Now, if this conversation was being had on the Bullhorn Betty show, we'd be hanging in the trees, right? We'd be hanging in the trees. But the truth of the matter is, statistics is what guides us. And unfortunately, statistics in situations like this, in this amount of time, is just never good, guys. There's just nothing we can do about it. It's just not good.
They're searches. They're searching landfills, lakes, ponds. That is not indicative of somebody that is alive. And again, you've got a child that has gone 6 weeks without his medicine, 6 weeks without food that we know of. He didn't have a source, no shoes. And mama herself says, oh, a flashlight's missing. Again, that's such an odd thing
It
for her
is.
to know is missing until they show her video that looks like a flashlight.
Boom.
And then the stepdad says, well, we were sure hoping it was, but we're sad to report it wasn't a flashlight. Well, if you've got 2 flashlights out there, why are you glad that it's not that? That to me would signify that somebody was out there in the wee hours of the morning with 2 flashlights, meaning 2 separate people, the night your child went missing. I mean, it's just odd.
Before we listen to the end of that, I want to know by the shows of 1s and 2s, who actually believes that those light sources are a garbage truck? If you believe they're a garbage truck, put a 1 in the chat. If you don't believe, what we're being told those light sources are, put a 2 in the chat. I'm not going to say whether you think they're flashlights or not. That I just want to know, do you honestly think it's a garbage truck? Do you think those, because okay. So we're getting some people in here, and so we do have a 1. Thank you for those that are that do the 1s. Thank you for being honest. I appreciate that. So we've got a few that believes that is a truly a garbage truck. See, I haven't been there, so I can't tell what angle that camera is looking at. And so they're saying it's pointed to the back of the house, but when we've looked at it before, we put it up on the screen, and it doesn't appear that there's a roadway back there. So I'm confused. I'm so confused. Are we just being, are they just lying to us? Which we have to understand that this is a very complicated and messy situation. Oh, thank you. It's me, Jen. This is a complicated situation where, the parents truly may be responsible for this young boy's disappearance. And the thought of that is disturbing. But because of that complexity, I think that law enforcement has to lie to the public and has to lie about certain aspects of it, because they have the integrity of this investigation they have to maintain. And they still have to solve this case, and they still have no clue where this boy is. But in my opinion, they're looking in all the wrong places. I truly believe. But you know what? There's a piece of me that say he could possibly be in the landfill, but if he's not in that landfill, he's somewhere along that I-40 corridor or somewhere near that Yogi Bear campground. I mean, Chris Proudfoot had to get up in the middle of all this searching the very next day to go pick up his camper, which didn't make sense to any of us. And then they turn around and go right back to the same camping ground. Why didn't he just leave it there? It doesn't make sense. There's something with the camper. There's something with the flashlight. There's something with the 3-hour phone call. There's something with the door. There's something with all of it. It stinks to high heaven. And then on top of all of that, we're starting to hear from people. Now, I don't know if this is true. I'm not going to stand on my channel and say it's true. So we're going to say this is an awful rumor that may hold water. We hear that Chris Proudfoot doesn't work weekends, which I knew that. I knew that already from out the gate. We've been talking about that from out the gate. And that's why I believe he was home, because I don't know any construction worker that's going to stay in a camper when they can sleep in their own damn bed. Doesn't make sense. A lot of stuff that doesn't make sense in this case. But let me get back here. I've got my my handy dandy notes. So I felt the narco diver. We'll go back to that in just a second. So I felt the narco diver was focused on the wrong facts. Ellie stated multiple times the dog hit was false in their opinion. Our hit, yeah, in their opinion, I put on here, and that it could mean several things. One, staged, like maybe they learned that this whole thing was staged because there was bare feet, and they happened to say the boy left the house without shoes on. So, or it could just be old scent, or just truly a false hit. And then in Nancy Grace, she's talking about the polygraph test and how Chris, I mean, she calls Chris out and hits him hard in this thing. We didn't go cover it because for what I was covering on this show, we don't need that. But she hit him hard with the polygraph test because he's playing games with that. He doesn't want to take a polygraph test. Like even the expert in here that we're about to start playing in just a second is sitting there telling us that we can solve this right now. All you need to do is take a he doesn't need to be court ordered for a polygraph. There's never going to be a court order. He doesn't need to go to TBI for a polygraph. A polygraph is a polygraph is a polygraph. So he could literally, if he wanted to put this to rest, if Chris Proudfoot wanted to put this baby to rest today, he could literally go and purchase his own polygraph test. He wouldn't need to do it through Nancy Grace. He wouldn't need to do it through TBI, and he could put this whole mess behind us. So the question is, why? Why won't he give us a polygraph? Why won't he tell us where he's at? Why does he have markings all up and down his arms? Why is he the one so secretive? Why is he the one that stinks to frickin' high heaven? And then we find out he may not even have been to work Monday. We're hearing, now again, horrible rumor that could hold water. We're going to throw it out here. I'm going to say it's rumor because I can't corroborate it right now, but believe your butts, I am working on it. But we're hearing that he may not even have been at work Monday. So did he lie about the whole thing, about his wife calling him and him being on this major crane and how he had to get off, and wait there until 9 to have somebody relieve him? I don't know. All I know is he has a propensity of lying. He has a propensity of lying to me. He has a propensity of lying to you. He has a propensity of lying to every single person related to this case. And we have to ask ourselves, why would anybody have to lie when there's a boy missing? Their boy. That is concerning. Let's listen to the rest of this little tidbit from this investigator, and then we'll get the phone lines open. You can tell me how you're feeling today, what you're thinking. And guys, if you think of a location, I mean, by all means, please let me know if you guys think that there's a probability of a place, whether you know about it, heard about it, felt it, whatever. I'm going to be out there on the 21st. And so we need to have some ideas of where to search, because I'm going out there to search for this boy. I just want to pull my resources in areas that need them, because if we have a lot of people penetrating the ground in and around Hendersonville, that's not the place I need to be. I need to be at a place that isn't being searched, that should be searched.
What do you make of a 3-hour conversation held between Mrs. Proudfoot and Mr. Proudfoot the night Sebastian disappears?
The 3-hour phone call bothers me because, again, that's a long time to be on the phone. And, you're hearing your son supposedly, he's answering you supposedly during that time, but you don't go check on him at all. Did somebody leave their phone just on while they went and did something else? I don't know. But I agree with Joe Scott. The electronics are going to tell the story. When his mama first entertained the idea that somebody had him, what did she base that on? His phone's not missing. He didn't take shoes, didn't
Boom.
take clothes, didn't take money. Nothing on his cell phone, nothing on his computer says that he's been talking to anybody. I mean,
Exactly.
she's entertaining something that we have no facts for.
Well,
We
I'm
have no
concerned
evidence.
about and you're right. Whenever I hear inconsistent statements, as I have discussed many, many times in front of juries, it's one thing to add or embellish your original statement.
Listen to this.
Because maybe you weren't asked the right questions first time around. Maybe you remembered something in addition, triggered by questions. But when you change your story, that's a problem. To Joe Scott Morgan joining us.
So there you go. That is the forensic expert that I personally like. I like how she really honed in on all of our concerns. We've been talking about these very things about this case for literally weeks. And now we're starting to realize our concerns actually are legit and hold water. They hold water. So that's where we are right now, guys. So I'm just going to start talking about the case and getting us some additional information, because I'm opening up the phone lines for those that would like to call in and tell us about your theories, your speculation, how you feel about the new information. Can you guys, hold on. Don't move yet. There we go. It's Mama Bullhorn. Hold on, Mama Bullhorn. I just want to make sure everybody could hear that. Okay, can you talk, Mama Bullhorn? Hello, good afternoon, Mama Bullhorn.
Hello. My new TV remote, oh, hang on, is so sensitive. It keeps going to the Disney Channel, which I don't even belong to. It's weird. Okay. I agree totally with that lady on Nancy Grace. I agree. All of the suspicions we have had, she's validating. Why? Okay, I'm like you. Why did Chris go get the trailer and then go back with it?
Mm-hmm.
If it's in Mississippi, Tennessee can't search it.
Good
TBI
point.
can't search it. And I think that's why they did it.
Mm-hmm.
There is something, it is so much like Dawn and Candace. It's like they studied their book. I'm not kidding you. This is like...
But there's definitely differences. I think we can identify very quickly. I mean, sometimes you can't, because, some people, they don't deal with stresses and stuff, normally. But I think it's the guilty. I think the guilty have a certain behavior. And I think it's indicative in Dawn and Candace. I think it's indicative in Chris Proudfoot and Katie Proudfoot.
Well, I believe... when she called him, or he called her, she probably texted him first, and then he called her, and they both left the phones open, and he drove back, because I don't believe he was there yet. I think he had been at home in Hendersonville, and he was en route to the campground. And he turned around, he left his phone wherever, and she left her phone, and they did a major cleanup.
So do you think...
And then he went back to work and checked in. He went back to work, probably put Sebastian in the trailer, went to work, and then all hell broke loose.
Mm-hmm.
And that trailer is in Mississippi.
Yeah, that's the campers got me a little, but everything's got me a little flustered. The 3-hour call, the the locked door, the no shoes, the flashlight, the the weird behavior the next morning, the changes of the story, the lying about taking the polygraph at the beginning. I mean, the lying about being completely cleared. Like, Chris Proudfoot was really trying to convince the world that there was no possibility of him being responsible for this, you know, and his house of cards came crashing down because he was made out to be a liar, because he lied about everything.
Well, let's back up. First of all, those lights, there's no way in HE double toothpicks that could be a garbage truck, because one went one way and one went the other.
Good point.
One disappeared and the other one didn't.
Good point.
Now, the other thing is, did they put the mother in the police car and take her riding around?
Nope. Chris specifically said he was the only one.
Why would they do that if she's the one that did all the driving?
It's pretty
And
telling.
searching.
It's pretty telling.
Yes. Hello. Exactly. So, yeah, this is a bamboozle. I think they're doing the same thing Dawn and Candace did, playing dumb, playing honest, playing let us help you as much as we can. Oh, our poor baby's missing. To pry on the sympathy of the public. Oh, he couldn't be guilty. He wasn't even here. He was on a great big crane. He had all night. He could have gone back and forth 3 times. So
this is gonna be a digital case. It's gonna be a digital case.
yes, I'm curious to see what his truck says.
Me too.
I'm curious to see what her truck says.
Because I even said that too. I said, you know what? He's military, so he might have thought about the phone, but nobody ever thinks about the car. The car gets you every time. Well, it's not even just the car. Let me just explain it. It's not even just the car. It's everything. This day and age, law enforcement has, and our government has pushed us to all digital. Think about it. We can't even barely get cash anymore. Everything's credit. Why? Because they can track every single thing we spend money on. They give us cell phones with trackers in it. They give us cars with trackers in it. It's very difficult this day because our government we have sold our souls to the convenience god.
Well, my car will even tell law enforcement where it is.
I know.
If I get lost.
They convince us that we need this stuff. This is going to help us.
My car sends out a signal. Hey, she's over here.
Oh, good Lord. All right, Mama Bullhorn. Well, we love you. Thanks for calling in. Thanks for giving us your perspective.
I love you all.
All right, love ya. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Mama Bullhorn up in the house. Me and my mama are like... All right. So that was interesting. So I really do think we need to remove the polygraph. Guys, we've been lied about the polygraph from out the gate, okay? We've been lied to from Chris and Katie about everybody taking a polygraph. We find out that only one person took a polygraph. We don't know the results of it because the people telling us the results of it are people that we don't trust, that have lied to us already, that we have to take with a grain of salt. Now because they've lied to us and they want to tell us, like, show me the proof. Katie, I'd like to see the test results, please. The test results for 500, right? I doubt we're going to find them. So let's go ahead and just remove all the polygraphs. Nobody had a polygraph. Now let's analyze the case without the polygraphs. Where would they be? I just believe that Chris is not stupid enough to put Sebastian anywhere in Hendersonville. We talked about how, like, I know he'll push the envelope, but I don't think he'll push the envelope too far. But because of the information in this case, I believe he may have made it back all the way to Memphis with him. But I don't know. I really don't. And I'm curious. Again, for those that are here, 724-249-6140 if you would like to express your opinion on here, because there's a lot to be had here. And if you do think that Chris is responsible or Katie is responsible, and you do think that they removed him from the house, where do you think they put him? Do you think they put him in the RV? Do I have my sleep on? Do you think they put him in the RV? Let me see what we got here. KP results are not the mama for. This is Betty.
Hi, Betty. This is
Hi.
Pam from Pennsylvania.
Well, hello, Pam. How are you doing, my love?
I'm doing good, thanks. So I think that from the time I saw Chris, the first interview where he had the scratches all over his arms,
Mm-hmm.
so I think this guy is such a self-involved person that he thinks that he can hide in plain sight and that nobody will notice.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he parked his RV on the corner of a public park. I would not doubt if Sebastian was in there. I would for smell reasons, unless they had some way to contain it. But he is that cocky
Mm-hmm.
that I would love to know, has anyone blown up the video of his arms to like really get a good look at it? I haven't seen that
Yeah,
anywhere.
we've blown them up as far as we can, but the issue is the quality of the image,
Yeah.
because it was from a video, and
Mhm.
you've got to take a still from a video, which it always never is like a beautiful video or photo, it's always a little grainy, and then when you blow that grain up, it just starts getting more pixely. So I
I mean,
haven't.
when I saw that, that was the first thing that went to my head. Is this guy thinks that he can be? When he came, I don't know if it was you. When it's maybe another creator, and he was like, "Yes, I'll just put it all out there. I'll just," lying and incriminating, and just. I think Don and Candace are a little bit different because people who try to make sense and they know to make nonsense.
Yeah.
I think Chris is cocky and bold and thinks that he can outwit. I don't know. I think that Chris, I hope, gets busted. I feel like he's an ass.
Oh, he's going. And now that I heard the Narca Diver, when I heard that Narca Diver, and I'm like, he was in the patrol car. Holy crap! Like that to me is like groundbreaking news that he was the only one that they took for this ride along, and that was so telling to me. It was just screaming. And so I was hearing everybody talking about the Narca Diver, and they were all talking about the dog hit. And I'm like, you guys are missing the boat. This is the most important.
You know what? I did take note of it, but I'm so glad you called it out because that is huge. It really, really is. It's very telling.
Yeah.
God, there was something else I wanted. Oh, did you hear, Seth, last night about the video of the garbage truck? Did you hear him talk about that at all?
I heard that he was, this was several days. I haven't listened to any of his interviews over the last couple days. Any of them that he's done over the last couple days, I did not hear, but I did hear him when he was on, I think it was the Pascal show, and explained the, that being a garbage truck. And I was remembering being taken back, and I'm like, how is it going behind their house? That doesn't look like there's a drive, a concrete.
So it's not the right angle. You know that, right? It is not. You're correct. It is not from behind their house.
Okay.
And that is supposedly a very blown up piece of a very small piece. I mean, it's a very small piece of a whole video.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. He didn't. He said that he can say that it was definitely a garbage truck, but I know one creator pointed out about the flashing lights, that all of the garbage trucks have flashing lights, and
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
and
I
not
don't
only that,
remember
but
who it was.
like my mom just said, I mean, the light sources went two opposite directions. I forgot all about that. I was so focused on.
Totally great call out. Definitely. I noticed that too, for sure. I'm just like, that's why everybody instinctively is like, yeah, no, you sure?
Yeah. I keep wondering, because Seth wants to find out what happened to his son, and he would tell a fib to the rest of us in an effort to keep something confidential. I truly believe that they're playing damage control with this video. I think this video may have, depending on how the elements play out in this case, may have some evidentiary value later down the road.
Oh, definitely. I certainly hope so. I would hate to see this turn into Summer Wells. And oh my God, I still think every single day I think about that kid. If I see those Paw Patrol, I think about her. Her parents, oh my God. I'm so annoyed they haven't done anything. But let's stay focused on Sebastian. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They're just so close by. You hear there's a body. You're hoping it's, going to give somebody some relief.
Actually, while you're on the phone here, explain this whole, because my email got blown up this afternoon from a lot of people. Oh, thank you, Baby Yoda. From a lot of people saying something about the Pascal show and a body. Can you just fill me in? Because I missed that, and I was trying to figure it out, but it was all happening right before it was going live this afternoon.
So I actually haven't looked in a while. I do know that remains were found.
Are you talking about the Kingsport stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, I've already got the end on that. It doesn't sound like it's anything to do with Sebastian or my girls.
Right. Or younger. Isn't it maybe somebody who's a little bit older? Or have you heard anything?
Yeah, I did hear some things. I heard that this may be associated with potentially a male that disappeared, several, I think like 4 or 5 years ago. There was somebody out in that area that went missing that they may, they won't be able to tell because if remains are remains, so they're not going to be able to tell until DNA is done and a whole host of other stuff. But God, it sounds like this is a guy, and it sounds like there was a guy that was missing in that area several years ago.
Well, I hope his family gets some kind of peace of mind. It's so sad.
But, that's just rumor, so I really don't know. It could
vary, true.
I mean, we could wake up tomorrow and find out that, holy crap, it's one of our cases.
Totally. Mm-hmm. Totally. Well, thank you so much.
All right, honey.
Lovely
well, thank you.
Uh-huh. Have a good night.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, I'm glad somebody explained that to me because I was asking my mods. I'm like, my emails are blowing up. What is going on? And I thought maybe it was another. I'm like, man, how, because it's almost like every time we start on a case, like even the Riley Strain case. I mean, look how many people they pulled out of that freaking river looking for Riley Strain. Look at Brian Laundrie. Look at how many cold cases they were able to close searching this entire country for Brian Laundrie. How many people did we find? Like 6 or 7? I think for whatever reason, I almost want to say it was like 9 people. 9 people. That blows my mind. This is Betty.
Yes, how you doing, Miss Betty?
I am doing well. Who's this and where are you calling from?
Columbus, Georgia.
Well, it's nice to see you, or nice to hear from you. Is there something that you feel about this particular case with Sebastian Rogers?
My wife followed it better than I do.
Oh, okay. So what do
you disagree that there was something going on in that 3-hour phone call?
You think there was some? Yeah. What do you think was going on? Do you think it was just a strategy to throw the case off, or do you think that there was something more there?
There was a strategy to cover up whatever was going on.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. What do you think? Where do you think do you think that they put Sebastian in the Hendersonville area, or are you kind of like me where you feel like he's further out?
He's further out.
Yeah, I think he's further out. I don't think they will put him because
they're ex-military, so they know what's going on.
I'm thinking so too. And what's your name, love?
Crystal Lawrence.
Oh, Crystal, it's nice to hear from you. I just want to thank you and your hubby for calling in.
Thank you. Have a blessed one. Thank you for all that you do.
Oh, no problem. God bless you guys.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, a husband and wife duo. I love it. You know what? I think I honestly wish more men would get involved in true crime because we could use some muscle, We could use some muscle. This is Betty.
Hi, Betty. How are you?
I'm doing well. Who's this and where are you calling from?
This is Elise, and I'm calling from Baltimore, Maryland.
Well, it's nice to see you. Nice to hear from you. So what do you have to contribute on this crazy case related to Sebastian Rogers?
Oh, God. First and foremost, my heart is just so with Steph. I'm so concerned about that man, all the stress he's in. He just looks so exhausted and drained and worried and scared. I just pray nonstop for him and his family, and that Sebastian just show up and show out on us and just say, I'm back, you guys. Deep in my soul, I feel like he's alive. I don't think he's gone, thank goodness. I really feel like he's alive. But that weird Bower socks and those Proudfoot, I feel like they're hiding him.
Why do you think they
because
would hide him? I guess because that's been the most perplexing part for me to overcome that theory, is because my question would be why? I mean, if they didn't want him there, they had already worked out for him to go to Seth's. So why would they hide him?
Because, and I really feel like it has something to do with court. Like he was going to be a witness for court, so he can miss court. Now,
Gotcha.
why would they I think they got stuck in a situation where, like, okay, so how are we going to get out of this scenario?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why it's lasted so long. However, what really shocked me, because I've been watching it from start to finish. I mean, not finished, but
Right.
presently
I get. Oh, yeah, I understand.
following it. Because I'm hopeful. Every day is like, as soon as I wake up, the first thing that pops in my mind is, oh my God, let me see if they found Sebastian.
Yeah.
But the one thing that really shocked me was when Steph did the interview on Court TV, when he mentioned that the mom, Kathy Bowersox, was at the home, the morning that Sebastian came up missing,
Mm-hmm.
I was blown away because that was the first time I heard it. And I'm like, wait,
I didn't know she was
excuse
there.
me? So you said you did?
I did not. Mm-mm.
Oh, so did you catch it on the interview that night? Did you notice
I didn't
it?
catch it until you just said something. No, I did not catch that.
Really?
That his mother was at the house. Mm-mm.
And you know what? I felt like that because I kept looking. Listen, I felt like it must have went over a lot of people's heads because I said, wait a minute. As many interviews as they mentioned, and they talking about who was there, of course, just Katie, and the son. And pretty much that's it until Chris claimed he arrived, right? But until he did that interview with the Court TV guy, and because the Court TV guy said, okay, walk me through that day. They called you, you got a call. He was at work.
Mm-hmm.
He got the text. He laughed, and then the man was like, okay, so how long did it take you to get to the, Katie house? He said it. He gets to the home, and so he says, well, who was at the house when you got there? He said Katie was there. The police officers was there talking to Katie, and he said, and Chris' mom was there. I said, wait, Chris' mom was there.
Hey, I don't mean to cut you off. Just give me just a second. So people are already starting to, I was trying to get a stopping spot, but there is something going on Facebook right now. We're getting some reports in that the police scanner in Hendersonville are all on lockdown.
Oh,
That there's
yes.
a large
Okay, I'll
police
call
presence
back. Okay.
per Facebook.
That's important.
Yeah, also the Proudfoots have locked down their Facebook accounts, guys. I think something's starting to happen.
We got to find out.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so
Absolutely.
I'll
Good
talk
talking to you.
honey. Thanks for calling in. God bless
Good
you.
night.
Bye-bye.
Thank
All right, so I don't know what's going on. Would somebody like to inform me or give me, what does it say here? Okay, that's great. Whoever that is, go ahead. Okay, we already got that out. So if anybody's got any information on here, and where is it? Is it on his, I've got the mysterious disappearance of Sebastian Rogers here. Let me see what we've got in this group real quick, guys. Just bear with me here while we kind of process this information through. I don't know where this information is. They're saying Facebook, but I'm here. and I don't see anything. Can somebody drop something in the mod squad if they guys got some links or something here? Let me see. For all those people that are out there, this is the Bullhorn Betty channel. We have a few housekeeping rules. The only housekeeping rule we have is that we are all adults here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. We expect, somebody's saying it's nothing. Betty, I think it's false. It might be some false reporting, and it would be possible, but we don't know. You have CB radio. I do have the ability, hearing it's a troll. Okay, perfect. So there is that. So, and why people would do that, I'm not sure. You know, this is a 15-year-old boy that's missing. Clearly, the person that would be doing all of this is a highly disturbed person. But they're saying the scanners are down. So if the scanners are down, guys, there may be some credibility here, because they will put these when they have to start communicating, they will lock those scanners down like what? I've watched it here in my county. I've watched it in other counties. They lock it down where you can't hear squat. Sometimes they leave them open, especially when they know, like, say there's a person out there that's escaped from prison or something like that. They'll leave those things open as they're communicating, because there's people out there looking for him as well that aren't law enforcement that need to have access to that information. But if their radios are down, in addition, there is a good possibility. They're saying Hendersonville is still open. Okay. If it's still open, it's still open, because even not only that, but the detectives will go on a back channel, because they still have to have their stuff open for regular stuff like car accidents, you know, somebody stealing something. They're not going to shut those completely down. They're only going to shut and go on a different frequency for the stuff related to Sebastian Rogers, to keep it from the public and keep it out of the public light. So I'm not seeing anything on it. It looked pretty interesting. However, it doesn't look like it may hold water. We'll probably learn some more as the night goes on, whether it holds water or not. But guys, just keep your eyes and ears open. Please pass this boy's face around. There's definitely something here. We all feel that there's something not right in this household and in this family. And we've stuck to our guts with that. You know, we've wavered a little bit on what we think happened, but I don't think we wavered on who we think is responsible. I think out the gate, we as normal people felt very uncomfortable how this case was not making sense to the normal person. You know, we're not the ones that are inside of this situation. We're on the outside looking in. We are the spectators. We can see things that other people can't see when they're in the midst of it. And we knew early on that something wasn't sitting right in this case. We knew early on, even though Chris was the one that was the furthest away, something made us gravitate to him. Something made that just in all of us, in every single one of us, where we had that instinct that says something ain't right. And we trusted that in all of us, even in lack of evidence, in lack of all this information, we're looking in the right direction. I don't think that's a coincidence, and I don't think that's just some strange phenomenon. Something stinks to high heaven in this case. We need to find Sebastian Rogers. There's only a few places he could be. And honestly, I've told you, I think he's either in the landfill or on that I-40 corridor. Yet, all of our efforts are in Hendersonville, in the surrounding area of Hendersonville. So hopefully they'll start branching out to find him. But we do have to remember, like the caller said, we're dealing with a military family. We're dealing with very well-trained people. Even 2 years in the military, that boot camp is rough. It's rough. Snow says we have the gift of discernment. Exactly. We can smell BS a mile away because we literally walk through BS every single day of our life on these channels. We hear almost every single excuse from all these despicable people that are trying to convince us, the people, that they are not doing these horrible things. So guys, we're going to still keep praying for Seth. We're going to still keep praying for Sebastian. We're going to pray that Chris just puts an end to this charade. You know, TikTok time's up, dude. I mean, like, nobody's buying it. Nobody's buying it. Take the polygraph test if you have nothing to hide. Otherwise, you know what? By the end of this week, if you still haven't taken that polygraph, Chris, I'm going to call you a murderer to your face. I'm going to make sure it's recorded and plastered all over social media. I'm going to make sure that if people don't know who you are, they'll know you by the time I'm done with you. Because I believe you did something and you are lying through your teeth and you think we're so stupid. This is like law enforcement's job. You know why I don't lie to a judge? Because they've heard it all before. There's no point. There's no point. Judges do this crap every single day. There's no point in lying to a judge, just like there's no point in lying to a law enforcement officer, just like there's no point in lying to a true crime content creator. So, all right, guys, I want to thank you for coming and joining me this evening. I hope you're liking the 7 o'clock. You were doing something in the morning, something in the evening, a little bit of stuff in the middle. I hope you guys are liking it. If you do, please consider subbing up. Please consider becoming a monthly member. But more importantly, make sure you're liking this video and make sure that you're inviting people over here to the Bullhorn Betty channel to learn about these cases. We advocate for these victims. It's not just a place to come and talk about them. We actually get out there and advocate for each and every one of the victims that we cover on our channel. And I'm going to be out there advocating and searching for Sebastian on April 21st. Rain or shine, we will be out there, boots on the ground, doing our part to help in this search for this young boy. One of the things that I am planning on doing, and I've never walked into a community, I don't hide what I do, I don't do sneak attacks or anything like that, but there is going to be a point in my trip where I do find out or go to that campground, and I will be on public easement, and I plan on having my sign waving there. I plan on doing this from a place of love, as always. But I want Sebastian's voice to be heard, and I don't think there's anybody that's going to give that boy a voice better than Bullhorn Betty. And we are going to go out there, and I'm going to make sure that by the time I'm done, Chris and Katie know exactly who I am and who their son is, because we're going to let them and make them look at him and explain, where is he? Where is Sebastian? We're not done yet. We will not be done until this boy is brought home. All right, guys, God bless. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, I want you guys to be safe, but more importantly, kind to one another, because we got enough POSs out here. We don't need to be part of the problem. We need to work each and every day to be part of the solution. God bless.